Hi everyone, it's Eileen from Now There's a Crafty Idea, and I'm here today with Tag Tuesday. So I was sorting through some of my fabrics and I found this lovely pile of fabrics, and I thought I might make a tag, like a fabric collage tag. I did these before when I did the little ladybird journals, the ladybird book journals, and I made some nice journal cards with a little bit of a little patchwork of different fabrics, and they turned out really nice. So I thought we'll make a tag out of them and maybe add a little pocket to the tag as well, and so see how it turns out. I haven't done a one, unlike me previous Tag Tuesdays, I haven't done one to show you, so it's just, you're just gonna have to follow along and see what it turns out like. So I've started off with two pieces of card. Now this is one-sided, it's very thin scrapbook card, so it needs, you know, it would probably need a little bit more structure to it, but that's great because that's exactly what we want. So the pattern is quite plain, so it's easily journaled over, and that's going to be the back. I want the plain side up because we're going to cover this in fabric, so we're not going to see it anyway, so it doesn't matter that it's white, because you won't see it once we finish. So what I'm going to do, I've just been trying to decide whether to cut the corners off now or to do it when I'm finished. I think I'll do it now because it'd probably be easier. So I don't want it too big a tag. These are, I think, 15 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters, and that was just, I didn't specifically measure it at that. That's just how it turned out. Obviously the size doesn't matter with these. You can make them any size you want, and it will work. As I said, I made journal cards last time and it worked fine on the journal cards. So yeah, you can use this to do just about anything really. And I've actually seen this used as a page, not quite the same as this one, but I've been thinking I might make a page like this, because I was inspired by watching Roxy Creations, Rachel, when she did her lovely fabric collage. But I was thinking maybe to make it just a little bit different, I might do a full page for the journal, just like this, just with the different strips of fabric. But I think I'll play about with that concept a bit, so that might be different. Right, now to get started, we just want to get our little bits of fabric. Now these are all just little pieces that I've had off this project and that project, and the smaller the pieces the better, because the more of a patchwork effect you get. So I'm not gonna, you can see I'm not being very gentle with the fabrics, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to just start laying them down, and we'll just get the idea of what kind of layout we want, and then we can start popping stuff on properly. I'm just going to get these little threads off, little threads everywhere, and we'll just, oh, that fits perfect straight across, doesn't it? Let's just pull that a little bit. These are going to be sewn on, so there's going to be some sewing involved, but you can, if you don't have a sewing machine, you could easily just glue these on, and it would still work. I've done them before where I have just glued them on. What I would suggest is that you use a very strong fabric glue, something that's going to stand the test of time, because without stitches on them, the nature of the fabric is going to want to lift up at the corners. So I would definitely try to make sure you get a really strong fabric glue. I like that there, that's nice. Let's get a bit of this out. I've just picked up all sorts, I haven't tried to coordinate it at all, just picked up this, that and the other. What I might do is I might pull that a bit longer and then cut that down the middle to give me two nice strips, and then I can share them. And like I say, this is a nice way if you've got lots of little bits of fabric left over from this, that and the other, and if you're anything like me, I've always got little stash of bits and pieces that I haven't gotten around to using, and you know, there's always something left over from when you're, there we go, from when you're making things, and just little, a little scrap like that, which would normally you know, people would probably throw that out, I save every last little scrap because there's so much you can do in junk journaling with little scraps. You know me, I save everything. So let's see, we could put a little bit across that way. Let's see, where do we want to cut it? Just about there. And it is a nice little craft to do. Plus, I mean, again, I love me fabrics. You know, I come from a sewing background, so there's so many fabrics that I've just, over the years, I've stashed them because, quite frankly, I can't bring myself to use them because they're so beautiful. And when I have used them, I've wanted to preserve them in some way, you know, and this is a great way of doing that. So you can showcase your favourite fabrics on a craft like this, which can ultimately, you know, come to be a favoured tag in your journal. And especially, I mean, these are really great as memory tags as well, because I know a lot of people keep baby clothes, and you know, you've seen the memory bears made out of baby clothes, and you can get the little blankets made out of the memory clothes and that. And this is a great, you could do this if you had like a collection of baby clothes that you know, from your children or your grandchildren, and you wanted to make something special to go into a journal, especially if you're making a journal about the kids, you know. You can use little scraps of their clothes to make these tags, and then it becomes a memory tag. And then on the back you could journal about, I don't know, what the favourite time they wore that particular outfit, or you know, your favourite memory of that kind of that time. And then it becomes a real special tag that means so much, because obviously it's got those lovely claws. And I mean, I suppose if you wanted to as well, you could do exactly the same thing with old clothes from, I don't know, I don't know, maybe a wedding outfit or something like that. If you had something, or even you know, you can make those quilts, or what are they called, where people get the old t-shirts and they cut all the t-shirts out and make a big memory quilt out of it. You could do that with your old vintage clothes, because I mean, come on, when you think about it, there's some beautiful fabrics in old vintage clothes, and if they're stained or dirty or they're ripped or they're ruined, don't just throw them out. Use the fabrics off them, make yourself some memory tags. I know I've got, you know, I've got a big bag up in the loft of stuff that I used to wear, and it's nice to sometimes just get them out and look through them. So if I was to make a memory tag with those clothes, it would be lovely, because then, you know, I'm not having to climb up in the loft to get them. I just open my journal and boom, there it is. I'm going to move that piece because I don't think it's working, and I'm going to cut some of this. As you can see, I'm not being particularly fussy about where I'm placing things. I just want to give it that nice effect, and it doesn't so much matter if you go over, because it's quite nice to have that kind of raw edge effect going over the tag, the edge of the tag. Right, we've got lots more pieces, so we'll be able to make lots more bits. So let's get these out the way. And even a little piece like that would be nice just to put in the centre. Yeah, I like that. That's quite nice. We'll leave that there. Right, I'm going to leave the lace out because I'm going to use that. Come off. I've got bits everywhere. Now I've kept these out. I stamped these on just a heavy cotton, and it's just a word, and it says Wanderlust. But I quite like it, and I thought this is what I'm going to stamp and put onto the top of these tags. So I'll just place it like that, and then on the bottom I'm going to make just a little pocket out of the lace, and I think that'll look quite nice. And then we can pop another little card in there as well, maybe a little tag or something. I was going to use this lace, but it's quite a stretchy lace and I didn't want to use that. But what would be good, if you wanted to, you could just layer that over the whole thing you're still going to see your fabrics coming through, but then you've got the nice lace over the top. So that would look cute as well. I mean, I suppose we could do one like that and one without, and then we'll have two different tags. Should I do that? Do you want me to do one of each? Shout a bit louder, I can't hear you. Okay, I'll do one of each. Right, there we go. If you were shouting, leave a comment down below. Right, there. Okay, so we're going to have two really different tags here. And this, once I get it all worked out, will look quite nice, I think. And we can still put the pocket on, because that's still going to look pretty. And then we've got some more trim if we wanted to use that. We might use that as a tag topper actually, because that's quite nice. And then we've still got our Wonderlust word that we can put on top. But literally you could put any word on here. If you could even sew on paper if you wanted to use an image or something. I don't know, if there was a picture or a little snippet of something, or even a word written that you've cut out of a book, you could still put that on top of the fabric and sew around it, and it's still going to look really pretty, and it's going to work. Because I mean, mixing the fabric and the paper, I always think it works really well. So now the next stage is, we know basically where we're going to put stuff, so we've got to figure out what's going to go down first. And I think I'm going to put this one, and all I'm going to do, I'm just using my glue stick, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the middle. Not a lot, just enough to hold the fabric still. So when I sew it, it's not going to go everywhere. And it will help to adhere the fabric to the page as well. So we're going to pop that down, and then I'm going to quickly sew around this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off while I'm doing the sewing, because you don't really need to see that bit. Like I said, if you haven't got a sewing machine and you're doing this by hand, this would be the time when you would want to cover your whole tag really evenly with a very strong fabric glue, and then stick your pieces on. And where you've got overlaps, don't forget to put your glue where the overlap is as well, to stop the fabrics from lifting. So I'll be like instant and it'll be done. So you can see I've just zigzagged around that. And it's not perfectly flat, and that's fine, that's okay. So I'm going to do exactly the same with the other pieces, and I'm just going to pop them on one by one, and then I'm going to sew around them. And I'm trying to like match up the edging as much as possible, but I don't want any of that paper showing, so I'm just being careful not to have that showing. So what I'll do is I'll sew around all the other bits, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. I'm basically just doing a zigzag stitch. And if you've got a big hot overhang like that, I could have just stitched up there and gone round. But, you know, if you want each individual piece to look sewn individually, then you need to go around each one. So I'll do that, and then I'll be back in like instantly. I will say one thing, when it comes to the shoulders of your tag, so that you keep the same line, what I would do is just snip that off before you sew, and then you're going to know where you're sewing, and you can always fray that up a little bit to make it look like the rest. So that's just going to keep your shoulders straight, and like I say, you can fray it up. It's going to look just as good as the rest, and you're going to still have the nice tag shape. So I've done all the sewing, and as you can see, it all looks very pretty and very nice, and it's got that patchwork effect. One mistake I've made is when I was saying about the pattern on the back, there's actually that much sewing that it's not going to work. So I think what I'll do is I'll back it with some coffee dyed paper. I mean, it's just another bit that we can do, and it's just going to give it an extra layer. And the stitching's quite flat, so you'll still be able to write over the top of it. I mean, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, it's just a personal preference. So let's get our pocket sorted out. Now I want this to have a little bit of a fringe, but not too much. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it so that that bottom fringe there is going to be just over the bottom of our lovely tag, so you're going to be able to see it hanging down, so it'll be quite pretty, hopefully. Right, let's get that sewn. I'll do this one quickly without turning the camera off. Just going to give it a little back stitch, and then we'll turn. And then back stitch. There we go. Okay, I'll just get these threads off. There we go, and there's our little pocket on. So we're going to be able to I'll get my teeth back in. We're going to be able to put a nice little tag in there, so we can find something nice to pop in. Right, now our word. And what I was thinking was just popping it on the top like that, because I quite like that. And then whatever we put in our pocket, it's not going to cover it up. And then we could just put a little snippet of this. Do I want it like a tab top, or do I want it just as a little snippet? I think I'll do it just as a snippet, because I like this very unravelled piece here. I like it. It's got that lovely, there we go, look. And then that's going to go at the top like that. And it's just that raggedy piece. Raggedy, that's the word I was looking for. So I'm just going to quickly do that again without turning the camera off, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I like raggedy bits, especially on these tags, because they look raggedy anyway, so it's quite nice. It gives a nice effect. There we go. And that's going to be nice and sturdy on there. And as you can see, we've still got our shoulders, and I haven't pulled this one. I'm just very gently easing some of the threads out, so I don't want to pull the fabric. There we go, and it still looks nice and raggedy. So we'll just pop our word on, and then that's that one finished. Right, I'm just going to freehand this. You could, if you wanted to, put a little bit of glue. I mean, if you, I'll show you what you could do. Just very quickly, just one little bead of glue, and that's gonna do great. And thanks to Jo Beth, I now know to to smooth down my glue. Right, now that's not going anywhere. It's got the glue on, and once I've started sewing, it won't be moving all over and trying to go different directions. Right, I'll quickly sew that on, and then I'll show you what the finished tag looks like. We are. I'll just get these bits off. There we go. Okay, and that's our finished tag. That's the one without the lace, and I think that looks really pretty. You've got little bits sticking out here and there, and it's a little bit raggedy, and it's a little bit, and then we can always pop something in there. Do I have anything to hand? Tell you what we could do. We could cut a little piece of this off. I'm just going to freehand this, so it will be by no means will this be straight. But I'm just going to quickly cut a little tag, and then we'll give that a quick ink up. Well, fingers and thumbs today. And we don't need to decorate this one, because this is just going to be part of the whole. So this is actually part of a decoration. So I don't want to over decorate by putting loads of stuff on this one as well, because it doesn't need it. And then that's going to sit nicely in there. And that's, you know, we're mixing paper with fabric, with lace, so that's really nice. And then I will back this with a coffee dye paper. I don't actually have any to hand at the moment, but it's just a case of putting a little bit of glue on and putting some coffee dye paper on, and then just being careful when you're cutting around it, you know, just to make sure that that it's, you're not going to cut off any of the fabric. But that's that one done. So we'll move on to this one and we'll see what it looks like with the lace over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew it all, and then when all the little bits are sewn on, I'll come back and show you how to attach the lace. So again, it'll be instant. Okay, so I've sewn around this one exactly the same way I did the first one, and now we're going to pop our lace on. Now, because I don't want to have to trim, let's find out which way this goes. I don't want to have to trim and cut any of the little bits of fabric coming off. I'm actually going to trim this as I go. I mean, before I sew. As I go, I mean exactly the opposite. I'm going to trim it before I sew, and that way I can adjust it without actually cutting off any of the nice little fabric bits. It's a bit tricky because it's actually a stretchy lace. It doesn't want to cut straight. But I'm going to bring that down just slightly so that I can cut the top. Might bring it down just a tiny bit more. There we are. And just try and cut it straight. It would help if I had some good fabric scissors. I can't find me normal fabric scissors. You know what I'm like. You know how terrible I am at losing things. So I'm just going to cut a straight edge on this side, and then I'll move it across a little. If I give myself a bit more room. Actually, it might be easier just to... Would it? No, it won't. I wish I had some of my clips left. Okay, I'm just gonna move it about a bit, and then I'm just gonna cut it. Let's just go for it. What I can do is I can pull it across so that I'm still not cutting any of the... I can see through the lace, so I know that I'm not cutting the fabric. And there's the top. It's just a bit fiddly, that's all, but I know you probably can't see it on camera, but I can actually see it on here. This is such a terrible lace. Oh dear me, this is why I don't use it very often. Oh my word. Right, let's make sure we get these cut off first. It's great for little snippets and little tiny bits and pieces, but yeah, not so good when you're using it a big piece on a project. Right. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. The whole tag is a little bit all over. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of dots of the fabric glue down just to keep the lace steady. I would do that even if it wasn't a stretchy lace, because lace tends to want to go in its own direction. So I'm going to just put a couple underneath these flowers where I want them to sit, and this is a fabric glue, so it will dry clear and you won't be able to see it. And this will also stop the fabric from lifting once the whole tag has been sewn. So just on these little flowers, because I don't want it being seen on the finished tag. There we go. And what I'm going to do on this one as well is I'm going to sew around the whole one. I'm going to cut the pocket beforehand so that I can sew the whole thing on in one go. And I might also cut the tab top the same. And then we're only going to be going round once. Right, let's move that out of the way. And I'm just going to give this a little bit of a pull apart. Right, now I'm just going to quickly sew this, then I'll come back and show you, and then you can see the two different tags. So I've sewn all the way around. That might not be quite central, but that's okay. And we again have our little pocket here for to pop our little tag in. It's a little bit more difficult because obviously the lace is wanting to catch on everything, but we can always round the corners of the tag to stop that happening. And what you can see the difference here, you can still see all the fabrics underneath and see them really pretty peeking out, but you've got that lovely lace over the top, and it does have a lovely textural feel. And the last thing we're going to do is I'm just going to get all the bits off the edge of this, and then I'm going to sew this on in exactly the same place. So I'm just going to do this one on camera because it'll take seconds, and then we'll have our 2 tags finished. And I do really like the effect that this lace has given it. Just trying to keep all my strings out of the way. There we go. I'm just going to snip off these bits here. There we go. And there's our 2 tags. And as you can see, they're both quite different with the backgrounds and that. And I think they both look really cute. I'm loving the texture and all the raggediness, because it just adds to the lovely overall shabby chic kind of look. I know shabby chic, shouldn't say it because it's trademarked, but the kind of overall shabby effect that I was going for. So I made a little tag, and what I've done is I've rounded the corners on it so that it doesn't get caught on the lace, and you can see it's so much easier than trying to get this one in, which keeps getting caught with its corners. So there's just a little tip for you. If you're using fabric on anything, round the corners of your ephemera and it'll just slide in there better. But I quite like them, and they've turned out really well, and I'm pleased with them. So yeah, as I said on my previous video, I am having a few problems with uploading. I'm trying to upload every day, but the other day it took 7 hours to upload one video, and it was just it was just so slow. So we're trying to get that sorted out anyway, so hopefully I won't miss any days, but I'm trying really hard to keep things going. So yeah, bear with me. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope you've enjoyed our latest Tag Tuesday, and I hope you like the tags that we've made, and I hope you're going to give them a go, because they are so much fun. And you could, if you wanted to, hand sew these. I would say use a thimble, because you're going to be hand sewing through card, and that can be like tough. I have the many scars on my fingers to prove that. Because yes, I've tried that many times, and yeah, use a thimble. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed them, and if you have, please do drop a like, and I would love it if everybody who's not subscribed, who's watching, subscribes, because I'm trying to grow the channel, and I've been getting some really good subscriptions lately, and I'm really trying to get up to 450, because I want to start the giveaway journal for my 500 subscribers, and that'll be really fun. I can't wait for that. And I'm also next week, not this week, week beginning, what's the date today? So that will be the week beginning the 1st of June. The following week I'm going to do a couple of giveaways, because what I've done is I've gone through all of my stash, and I have got so much fabric that I could probably clothe a small country. You know what it's like as a crafter. So yeah, so I've created a couple of little bundles, and I will be doing a giveaway on them to all my subscribers, and so please keep your eyes open for them, and I might pop a couple of other little bits of treasure in there with them as well. So please do drop a like, please subscribe, and please stay safe and stay healthy, and happy crafting. Bye.